Good morning. This is Mark Bowd of Real Estate Economics. Thank you for joining us for our weekly webinar series. Our topic this morning on May 9th, Wednesday, is the housing market in the Charlotte, North Carolina market area. With that, we're going to go ahead and go to our website and pull up the information we need. I've already logged on to our website. I'm going to go to Products, to our Closings Report section, and pull information for the county wherein Charlotte, North Carolina is. We have several counties covered in North Carolina. For this morning's webinar, I'm just going to cover the county of Mecklenburg, which is the main county of the MSA of Charlotte. I'll pull all of the cities, all of the zip codes, and I'm going to pull information for the first quarter of this year. You can run as little as 1 month and as many as 12 months at a time. And what it will do is it will produce a year-over-year comparison for whatever period you choose. So I've chosen the most recent 3 months for which we have information, which is January, February, March of this year. I'll choose resales, new housing closings, foreclosures, as well as foreclosure sales. I'll choose both single-family and condominium product. I'll keep the price range, unit size range, and bedroom count wide open and run the report. Once I run that report, you can see the result of that. All of the transactions in this particular market area, this county, are pulled up, in this case in Mecklenburg County. Again, for those of you who are being introduced to our website, you can view the map in several different ways. You can zoom into any area. You can choose satellite view. You can also go into a terrain view, which is helpful for those areas that have hills and rivers and streams and so on, so you can see the actual view orientation of given areas, where the hills are, where those views are. Or you can choose our regular map view. So I'll zoom out again, covering the main Charlotte area, and we'll run the report. Once you hit the Run Reports button, what happens is information is pulled from our enormous database of transactions within a 13-state area. It chooses this county, pulls those transactions that we chose for the time frame that we chose, and loads it into a report template that's delivered in Excel format. The reason we think it's important anyway to deliver our product in Microsoft Excel or Microsoft Word is we want you to use this product. We want it to be interactive. We don't think it does much good to give you a PDF format where you really can't do much with the information. So having pulled that report up, it's gone into an Excel sheet in my vault. I'll actually pull up, and here it is right here. So I'm going to download that, and it pulls right up into this form of an Excel spreadsheet. This is only one of the sheets that's covered on our transactions or on our closings report. There's actually several reports. I'll quickly go over this first sheet, and then I'll touch upon these other sheets as well, so you can get an idea as to what kind of data we're providing in this Excel template. You can see the number of transactions that have occurred during the most recent quarter of data in Mecklenburg County, the greater Charlotte area, is 2,949 transactions, or sales transactions. That excludes foreclosures because those are not sales. It's the combination of resales, new home builder closings, and foreclosure sales. That's a 5.6% increase from what we experienced a year ago. So we are making progress in terms of increases in volume. You need to see those increases in volume for quite some time before it begins to arrest the degradation in price. And unfortunately, we're still seeing some degradation in price in this market. During the past 12 months, we've seen a 4.6% decline in the average price of homes. Now that comes also with a 3.7% decline in the average unit size, and so there's only been about a 1.1% decline in price per square foot, which is probably a better indicator or measure of true price depreciation or appreciation in this market. You can see that graphically right here. Here are those averages shown in terms of price per square foot and price. You can see that the overall market in terms of price per square foot is beginning to level off. There was a little bit of a negative during the past 12 months, but we are beginning to form a bottom. we'll need to see a continued increase in sales volume before that bottom fully forms and begins to rise again. We do feel that this market is significantly undervalued, as most markets are in the nation right now. And the way we define that is we examine the 40-year relationship between household incomes and mortgage costs. Part of the reason we use mortgage costs is because it incorporates the mortgage rate, which has a profound impact on the overall affordability of housing. Based upon that 40-year trend between household income and mortgage costs, the overall ratio right now between costs and incomes is far below that 40-year relationship. That's how we define affordability. For those of you who want more detail regarding that, you can purchase our residential economic report and see that 5-year forecast of appreciation based upon where we are, based upon where the economy is going, what the overall uplift in price will be for the next 5 years. Suffice it to say in this report that we are forming a floor in terms of price. We think that floor will form throughout this year. By the end of this year, there may still be a very slight negative in terms of overall price change. Next year is positive, and then we think that it's positive thereafter as well. We're seeing a slight loosening in lending practices. The reason we know that is because we're seeing an increase in the overall loan-to-value measure. 2 years ago, it was 79%. A year ago, it was 83%. Now it's about 84% in terms of loan-to-value. Banks are a bit more willing to lend. That's a good thing. It increases sales volume. Banks are beginning to recognize the reduced risk associated with very high affordability levels and increasing economic activity. As those banks begin to normalize in terms of their lending practices, we feel that that only enhances the chance for a floor to form in terms of price and enhances the overall long-term forecast for price appreciation. You can see other trends that I think are positive, at least positive in some respects, regarding housing transactions volume by type. The fact that we've seen a big increase in resale volume is a positive sign. We're now almost where we were 2 years ago in terms of volume, much higher than we were a year ago. And again, those volume increases help to stabilize price. Unfortunately, we've also seen an increase in foreclosure activity. I think part of this is probably because of the robo-signing fiasco where the banks got behind in terms of foreclosure activity. And a lot of that foreclosure activity was then bunched up during first quarter 2012. At the same time, they got behind in selling off those foreclosures. So we actually saw a decline in foreclosure sales during the past 12 months. That is not a good sign. Anytime you see foreclosures higher than foreclosure sales, it means that you are building distressed inventory as opposed to burning it off. We think that this is a pretty temporary situation. We think that by second quarter we'll see a resumption of the burn off of distressed inventory. Unfortunately, first quarter was a bit of a step backward in terms of that inventory. We have seen an increase in new home closings during the past 12 and 24 months. That's a good sign. It means that builders are building more product and taking advantage of the little demand that's out there. And as the market continues to improve, the new home market should be able to generate a higher market share than they have during the recessionary years, especially to the extent that they implement technologies that aren't necessarily readily available in the existing home market. If they're implementing technologies that reduce housing costs, or more specifically energy costs, such as solar roofing and other energy saving or energy producing technologies, that's a significant benefit for the new home market relative to the resale market, and that has a chance to enhance overall market share for the new home market as opposed to the other markets. You can see the overall patterns in terms of sales by price range. There has been a gain in most price ranges below $400,000 in terms of volume. And again, that's a good sign. So this is our overall closings report. It's on the very first sheet of our Excel template. I'm going to go to the next sheet, which shows a lot more detail. Those of you who are number junkies will appreciate this. This shows the distribution of sales by price for the most recent period that we chose, by home size, by bedroom and bathroom count, and then also by transaction type and by product type, which we showed in the past sheet. So it shows it for the most recent 3-month period. It compares that to that same period a year ago, and it compares that to the corresponding period 2 years ago. Does the same thing with price, unit size, price per square foot, and even bedroom bathroom count. And we also show average year build information. On occasion, we're able to hit a market where we have detailed lot size information. We'll post that as well. Unfortunately, this is not one of those markets. This is a good report to show that more detailed distribution of where sales are occurring. There is also a product and pricing sheet. This is an important sheet in that it shows the overall price lines, the market price line for various segments of the market. So you can take any square footage. We show the full spectrum of square footages, anywhere from 800 square feet to 4,700 square feet. You can see the overall price line corresponding with that. What these price lines are, they're simply a regression of price relative to square footage in these markets for these various segments of the market. Sometimes you do get some strange numbers, and you have to discount the value of those based upon what you get. But overall, the sample tends to be large enough that at least in the meat of the market, you're able to generate some meaningful numbers. Just to give you an idea what that chart looks like, here's a chart that's shown on the first sheet of our Excel spreadsheet that shows that overall regression line. That overall regression line here, shown in red, corresponds with this regression line right here. So here's the overall market regression line. Here's the single family portion of that market price line. The condominium portion, you can see the condominiums, at least in the lower price ranges, tend to be, or lower size ranges, tend to be higher in price than single family. That's partly because a lot of those single condominium homes are located right in the city where they're able to support a premium. The resale market, the new home builder market, which tends to support a premium in many cases, at least in the smaller unit sizes in this market. The foreclosure market, which is basically the amount that banks are foreclosing on by size range, and then the foreclosure sales market. Below that is information regarding volume, change in price, and so on. And then below that are the charts that correspond with these various segments of the market. Useful information. In fact, you could actually even type in specific unit sizes that may correspond to your various product types. And you can see that anytime I make a change in the unit sizes, it'll come up with what that particular price is on the price line for that particular segment of the market. So it's a useful tool for builders to really determine at least what the market is saying the overall value is in their particular segment of the market. There is also a chart data sheet. This is basically a raw data sheet that is used to generate the charts and graphs that we have. There's a planning table. This table is useful for those who want to actually plot their own product. If you fill in the template, then that information shows on our chart here, where we actually plot that information here, allow you to see exactly how you stack up with the overall market. In this case, it shows the overall market price lines, the types of transactions that have occurred, and if you plot product, and I'll just plot some sample product here. You can see that it gives you a market price line. This is not necessarily meant to be a recommendation, but simply shows where that overall market price line is. And you can move it into the report. So here's what I just moved into that report. This is a useful tool, again, in terms of competitive market positioning when a builder is actually wanting to see where to plot product relative to various segments of the overall market. Finally, there's a few other useful tables and charts that we use for a newsletter that goes out to our subscribers. This is a free newsletter, and you'll recognize those tables for those of you who subscribe to that. And that's it. That covers our closings report and our summary for the greater Charlotte area of North Carolina. We hope you'll join us again on each Wednesday as we produce a new series, a new topic for our webinar series. Thank you for joining us this morning. Take care. Bye.